This will be a day long remembered. Now I am the master.
Welcome to another episode of Legends and Theories. And welcome to my review of Legacy of the Forest Exile. I do have to do a little bit of checking on its summary because in about the week and a half that I finished this, I finished another 2 and a quarter books in the series, so events are kind of jumbling together for me. But so I really enjoyed this book. One thing I remember is this is the true beginning of the Second Galactic Civil War. There's also the very interesting story where Ben is trapped, I think it was on Ziost, which is one of the homeworlds of the Sith, and he finds the Sith meditation spear there. We also have just so many other interesting things with Han and Leia going with Lando and teaming up with Wedge to go and figure out what's really going on behind this war because in a very similar way to the Clone Wars, and while this is called the Second Galactic Civil War, this is far more set up like the Clone Wars, where, I mean, both sides are in the wrong. One side is controlled by Corellia and its allies, and they're not exactly good. They are going to some very bad lengths. They're going to assassination and some other terrible means to go and get people to their side. On the other hand, you have the Galactic Alliance, which is controlled by Jason Solo at the time, who eventually does become Darth Titus, and he's a Sith in training at this point, and Lumaya, who is his current Sith mentor. And just looking at it is, it's a little insane to see just how similar this is in a way to the Clone Wars, although both sides are being controlled by one person. Although Lumaya does push the Civil War into beginning to be able to push Jason further and further into the dark side. But besides her just pushing them, it is all just naturally happening, and this is sort of what the Clone Wars would look like if the two sides were genuinely fighting against each other. It is honestly just really interesting with this war, and there's not too much to talk about it here because not as much happens, although some more extremes happen later on in the series, especially the book I just finished, where you get to see just how extreme Jason gets. But with this, there's a few different storylines, including Jaina being sent with both Jagafel and Zeke, her, well, the two people that are interested in her, but she's currently not interested in either of them. I do know who she ends up with, but it's interesting as they team up, and Jag at the time really hates her because he got banished from the Chiss because of her, and they're going to hunt down Alma, who is after her parents, and trying to seek them out on the Aaron Venture, which is the Star Destroyer owned by Brewster Tarek, aka Corin Horn's father-in-law slash Wedge's old friend. And honestly, it is just such a great and compelling story with it. I just had just so much fun with it. I think that the story just kept getting more and more intense. Ben's story on Ziost was really interesting as he's showing he really doesn't have what it takes to be a Sith, and Lumaya wants to kill him for that. Everything with Han and Leia is interesting as they're trying to figure out what's truly going on, and even meeting up with Luke, even though for Luke that would be considered treason, and just going through so much more of it. It was just it's such an interesting story, especially as the Civil War begins and Jason is led into a trap at the end where he feels like he's made to look like a fool because he trusted intel he got and didn't realize it was a trap set up to pull him and the Alliance into a losing situation, although they managed to get out mainly fine. But yeah, honestly, it's just it's a really solid novel. I don't have too much more to say about this one specifically, but really excited to talk about the next book in just a few days because the next one it's absolutely insane, and the one after is it's about equally insane, but for different reasons. But yeah, honestly, I want to know what you think. Have you read this book before, or have you not? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you next episode of Legends and Theories. Thank you for watching this episode of Legends and Theories. Please subscribe, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, check out the video on screen, and may the Force be with you.